Hey, this is Deb Alps, DebAlps.com. How would you like to get more leads through networking meetings? Well, in today's short video, I'm going to go over some tips on how you can do that. First of all, when you to find these networking meetings, go to meetup.com or, your local Chamber of Commerce meetings as well. But meetup.com, you can go ahead and go, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of meetups that you can go to network with some new people. And the ones that I typically like are ones where there's other business owners, there's other professional people, or maybe realtors, things like that, where you can actually meet people that will be good for your business. You kind of want to target that, and they tend to be the best meetings or meetups. The next thing is, when you go to a meetup, your typical goal is to get as many business cards as possible. And the other thing that you do not want to do is to go to the meeting with, with the buttons and the hats and the t-shirts and all that type of thing. Really, you don't want to do that. You want to go to your meetups, and you want to actually just ask people questions about their business and themselves. That's what people are there for anyway, is to get leads and business for their own businesses, and they're mostly interested in them. And you will be a rock star if you are asking them questions, you're genuinely interested about their business and that type of thing. So what do you do if you have to stand up and introduce yourself? Well, if you've got your business, I always lead with the product. And why is that? Well, you don't want to be the person that, has the person that, everybody's avoiding, and, you don't want to be a pitchy type person ever, anything like that. So I always lead with the products. That's what you want to do. You want to lead with the products. So that would go something like this. If you're in a health and wellness company, you might say something to the effect of, I promote health and wellness for individuals. Or if you're in a travel company, I help people save money on travel and adventures. And it's just something simple like that. Nothing too crazy. Do not give your company name. I don't recommend that you do that. Why? Because people can go to Google and they can Google your company. They can Google it, and they're always going to find something about it that's not too cool, and they're going to think it's a scam, or they're going to do something like that. So you want to be the one that introduces that to them. So what's your goal when you go to a network? Now, if you don't have to speak on your business and you're just networking with people, I've been to both types. Go ahead and you just talk to people about their business, and your goal should be to grab as many business cards as you possibly can. You should get a business card from everyone in the room, okay? And you just go up to them, hey, what do you do? And my name is, you want to introduce yourself first of all, and then say, hey, what do you do? And then you listen to them, maybe ask them some more questions about what they do and that type of thing. Well, what do you do if they ask you what you do? Now, this is if you haven't had to introduce yourself. You can just simply say, well, I help people get business. I help people make money from home. Or you can also say, and depending on if you're part-time or full-time, if you're full-time or part-time, you can also say, well, I'm an accountant, but I have a side project that I'm working on as well. And then you do a quick turnaround, right? And you ask them a question about their business. Actually, most of the time, they're more interested in promoting their business and what they got going on than they are interested in hearing what you have to offer. So anyway, after you gather up all these business cards, then what do you do? Well, like I said, what I do is that I collect the business cards, and then at night give them an email, thank them, tell them how much you enjoyed meeting with them, and you'd like to connect soon. Something on that order, and then call them the next day. Okay, now how do you do that? Well, first of all, you call them and say, hey, Joe, I met you last night at the X and X, meetup event. I really enjoyed talking with you. Do you have a quick minute? And you always want to ask, do you have a quick minute, or do you have a second or so? And of course, if they're busy or whatever, then you want to call them back. I mean, it's kind of rude to talk to somebody when they're in the middle of a business appointment or something like that. So you always want to ask that. And the second thing that you can do, of course, if they tell you yes, I have a quick minute or whatever, say, well, I really enjoyed meeting with you. Oh, geez. The time, I forgot the time. I've got a conference call I've got to jump on to in 15 minutes. But just a quick question, just curious. Would you be at all open to a side income project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? And then just shut up and wait and listen. And quite often people will ask you, well, what is it? And then, I just mentioned the break in communication. The reason I do that is because it helps you get out of the call. To say, hey, you know what? I'm really in a hurry today. I'd really love to explain it to you a little bit more, but I got to go jump on this conference call. If I sent you some information, how soon can you look at it? And how soon, not when can you look at it, it's how soon. And then, of course, maybe they'll tell you, I can look at it at 4 o'clock tonight or 5 o'clock or whatever. And whatever they tell you, just say, great. I'll check back. Great. I'll check back with you at, like, let's say they could look at it at 4 o'clock, and you could say, well, I'll check back with you at like 4:35 or something like that. Some odd time usually, and just say, I'm really, really busy. Got to get back on this conference call, but I really enjoy chatting with you. We'll connect. I'll send you the information, and I'll check back with you then. And that's it. That's basically it. And you want to call everybody, like I said, the next day. You want to get on the phone. People ask about business cards. You can either carry one or not carry one. Typically, I don't carry a business card, and that's just because of the fact that nobody ever calls you back anyway. So, it doesn't really matter if you carry a business card or not. You're going to be the one that calls them back and checks back with them. Anyway, that's how you handle that for a network marketing business. There's one other way with some some networking events is that you can typically call them and maybe just say, hey, I'd like to connect, find out a little bit more what you do, and get together with them that way first. I typically don't do that because it's kind of it takes more time, but I've seen people do that, and that can be very effective too because you're building a relationship, and this is a relationship building business. Anyway, I hope you got value from that. If you did, go to debelps.com and grab my free branding blueprint, and we'll see you in the next video.